Welcome, everyone. Good to have you here. I'd like to illustrate in a very simplified way how trauma impacts our body. And I've created a simple drawing for that. So just wanting to show you, when we experience trauma, we usually feel the pain within our system. So this is where the disturbances lie. And we usually tend to move away from whatever feels painful, in that case, our body. And by that, we shift our focus outwards. So here are all the wounds, here's the trouble, here are the unpleasant things. And within our home base, actual home base, like the body is our home base, there's no more safety. So we draw ourselves out of the system. And when we are out of that system, our awareness is just floating around and we are just having these kind of focuses on the mental aspects and on fantasies or whatever. We are losing ourselves in all kind of external things that draw our attention. But by that, when we are not here, when we are not at home, every tiny trigger might result in the system spilling over. And this is when the alarm goes on. And this is when a trigger becomes an overwhelm and we are completely out of control. And by that, when we are completely out of control, it's very difficult to come back into our own place again. I'd like to show you with another very simple picture. So this is our brain, just showing how it works in the brain. So usually when we are relaxed, our frontal lobe, our thinking brain is active. But when we are in fight, flight, or freeze mode, this one shuts off. This means that we can't reason much longer. We don't have rational thoughts much longer because we are escaping from that arena and we're moving into a space which is underneath that part. It's called the limbic system. And when we are within this limbic system, when the activity is here, this means the emotion brain is on. And this is when the hormones are flushing out into the system. And it's really like the fight, flight, freeze state, fawning state. And we really need to understand that when there's trauma in the system, we slowly need to regain the sense of safety in our bodies. How can we do that? So usually it's a longer process. It just doesn't happen overnight to come back into our bodies and feel safe again. So the best thing is to have small exercises every day where you can reconnect to your own senses again. And one very good exercise is like the grounding technique. You've heard of it beforehand, but this means reconnecting to your feet, becoming aware of the soles of your feet, feeling into your own feet, noticing how you're standing, how's the weight, and just for a very short moment being present within your own body. And if you're cultivating that day in and day out and making it like an exercise that you do on a daily basis, you will slowly regain the sense of safety within your own body. And that's just what I wanted to show you. And no matter how complex the trauma is, in the end, even if it's an early childhood trauma, if it's a complex trauma, PTSD, the goal is always the same. We need to regain our home base. We need to feel safe within our own body again in order to be able to lead a normal life, in order to not be overwhelmed by the tiny triggers that might come in on a daily basis. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments down below. And otherwise, happy to seeing you next time. Take good care and goodbye for now.